How's it going, you guys? Pokemaster Kenny from Orange Dragon Gaming here. Today we're going to be doing something a little different. Today, not only do we have a face cam, but second, we're doing it off of our phone. Now, for those who don't know me, I come from a lower middle class family who scrapes up money from doing work. I have a job myself, so I don't necessarily have the access to the best editing slash computer software in order to run PTCGO, OBS, and editing blocks. I don't editing apps. I think is the word, or the knowledge of how to even edit. And I don't have the money to pay an editor to do my videos, so I just naturally create a thumbnail. If I add tiles, I add tiles. And if I wanted to have a cool intro, I could go on Panzoid and go through a YouTube tutorial at most. Um, but that's about it. I just can't really physically afford a gaming PC or a laptop because other life priorities come in the way. But with that aside, we're going to look at a deck that I've gave to a fellow friend, Benjamin Merritt, who's been playing for almost a year now, I want to say, competitively. I got him into the game after I met him at school. He was actually a freshman. And after Vivid Voltage had just been shown, there was the Shedinja right here that was revealed. And I was like, oh, this card is really, really cool. And Grayson Lang brought up to me that if we played it with Talonflame, you can infinitely mulligan. So then him and I created a list that's very, very, very far off from this original list. And it was doing decently okay. And then Ben actually shifted a bunch of cards over and made it a welder engine. And then from there, I made a lot of edits to the deck. And here we are today. Mainly because when the Compodium finally came out and it said you couldn't just have Shedinja and Talonflame in your deck, because the idea was Shedinja was a basic. Technically, you can't start with it. You can start Talonflame, but technically it's a basic, so you kind of counteracts there. But Shedinja is a 30 HP basic Pokemon with the ability Shell Survival. When you put this Pokemon in play, you can only put this Pokemon in play with Ninjask's Cast Off Shell ability. So when you're setting up, you can't put it down as your active Pokemon, but it has 3 colorless attack costs called Life Squeeze, where it's extremely similar, if not the exact same, of Raticate from back in the day. You put damage counters on your opponent's active Pokemon until its remaining HP is 10. So obviously we do play things like an Toxic Laser in order to boost the knockout rate instantly. So it's an OKO deck or an FTK deck, whatever you want to call it. In Yu-Gi-Oh terms, it would be FTK, but it would be a one-turn kill deck because you just go Shedinja, DCE Welder, or Max Elixir, and then Hypnotoxic Laser, and they get knocked out like that. Nothing survives that other than maybe a Virizion EX or a Cobalion GX or anything with those, but there's not a lot of decks that actually run either of those at the moment. Mew3 and Speed Zacian, I think, are the only two that I can think off the top of my head that actually run those. But the reason why we run it with Talonflame is because Talonflame, while it's stage 2 and you can't start with it, has the ability Gale Wings, which makes you set up, which allows you to mulligan your hand as often as you like, as long as it's in the only Pokemon in your hand, you can start with it. So the idea behind the original idea behind the deck was mulligan as many times as you want until you have the optimal hand, then set down Talonflame, which Aeroblitz also got you all the cards. Now, since that didn't work, Ben decided to add a Talonflame V, which Talonflame V is from the new set for a colorless energy. If you go first, you can use it, and then you can discard your hand, draw 6. Pretty solid. The second attack for 2 fire and a colorless was 160, and you discard an energy from it. Also pretty okay, not the best, but at least it gives us a fire attacker to go towards the meta. So as you can see, this is you just try to go ham with Shedinja, you get your Talonflame going. It's all pretty good. So then we get to the trainer line. We have 4 Welders, 1 Shadow Triad, which for those who actually didn't play back then, Shadow Triad is a supporter card where you put a Team Plasma card from your discard pile into your hand. An interesting edit that Ben didn't really have in his list. I didn't have it in my original list either, and I went back to the deck like a couple weeks ago and I added the Shadow Triad. But 2 Junipers, 1 Guzma, 4 Elixir, 3 VS Seeker, 4 Laser, 4 Acrobike, 4 Level Ball, 4 Trainer's Mail, a Computer Search, a Compressor, and 4 Silent Lab. Now, I bet you're wondering, wow, does this draw consistently? Yes, it draws consistently. There is a there's a point in the deck where I've wanted to add a Guzma and Hala also because you're able to grab your one of your 4 DCs, the Silent Lab, and that's about it. But the deck ran extremely consistent with 4 Trainer's Mill and 4 Acrobikes. Anyways, it just kind of seemed a little redundant. Plus, it seemed like one of those cards where it's a solid idea on paper, but you never want to open it because you either want to go with a Welder or you want to go with a Juniper. One of those cards. Another consideration also in the deck was an AZ and a Tapu Lele, just so you could go after the Welder. But if you start with the Lele, it could be very, very problematic. So one thing to note also is you cannot put Shedinja in play until you get that Silent Lab down on the board. Because, like it states on the card, the only way that you can actually put it in play is with Ninjask's ability, which you can't actually use because you don't play Ninjask. So you play it on the Silent Lab, play it down immediately. You go DCE Fire Energy. Oh, hello. You go DCE Fire Energy. The one of Compressor, I'm still questioning a little bit about, but I like the fact that you're just instantly able to discard the cards you don't need, such as Talent Flames. Another card that I'm a little flexed on right now is Koga's Trap / Computer Search, because Computer Search could also be switched towards a dowsing machine just because it gives you an extra out to another laser or a VS Seeker or a Shadow Triad. And Koga's Trap is just an instant poison / confusion, so you wouldn't have to rely on a Hypnotoxic Laser. And if you're playing against like like an aggro deck, you don't just instantly lose to a Vileplume. I think you kind of you don't lose to a Vileplume immediately because you still have access to Arrow Blitz on the basic blocking one, and the other one, the Irritating Pollen, you can't Hypnotoxic Laser, but you can definitely put it down to 10. But yeah, that's really about it. This deck is straightforward linear. Everything in the deck can be grabbed off of Level Ball minus the Talon Flames, but you're not wanting to grab those anyways. Your main focus is to get out your Shedinjas and use its Life Squeeze ability as often as you like. 10 Fire Energy, 4 DC, that's about it. If you want the whole list, it's going to be right here. Take a screenshot if you would like. I thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe and like for more content. If you'd like to see other expanded decks, please put it in the comment section below. Until then, guys, see you later.